Vic is a successful engineer and he is married to a beautiful Latino woman, Melinda. They have a 5-year-old daughter, Trixie, and they look like a happy family. A few years back, Vic created an advanced chip and the US military bought it from him, and now he is super rich, happy, and wants to retire. Vic and Melinda, they are invited to a party and Melinda sees a friend, Joel. She hugs him hard, takes his hand, and they leave the place. They go to a cozy corner and start making out. They are going really hard at it, and even when Joel sees Vic, he continues. While Vic is looking at his wife kissing another man, Mary, one of his friends, comes and tells him that Joel was not even supposed to be here, and Melinda insisted to invite him. While they're talking, Grant comes and tells Vic to control his drunken wife and tell her to get down off his piano. Melinda comes down from the piano and starts to sing a Spanish song. Joel talks to Vic, the audacity of this a-hole, and thanks him for being different with other men and letting his wife to be free. Vic all of a sudden tells him, "You heard the name Martin McRee. He wanted to be with my wife too, and I killed him." Joel says that he doesn't believe, but either way, he is scared to death and he leaves. The party is over and they return home. Melinda is really drunk and she gets naked in front of Chelsea, their babysitter. Vic sends Chelsea home and talks to Melinda in their bedroom. He tells her, "I wish you chose a smarter guy." Melinda says, "You mean you chose me because I was smart? I know that I'm not smart enough to have your respect, but Joel wants me as I am, and it makes me really hot." Joel told everyone that Vic killed Martin, and when Melinda hears this, she argues with Vic and says that he shouldn't have joked about Martin, and she says that Vic scared Joel and now they have to invite him over to apologize. They invite Joel and we see how childish Melinda really is. She acts like a 12-year-old, and Vic says that on their first date she ordered a small meal so she could drink more wine. Melinda gets mad and says that she is sorry that she embarrassed him on their first date, and also says that she wishes Vic to be normal. Melinda looks at Joel and says, "Did you know that Vic does not drink?" Vic says that if he were normal, Joel would not be there. Melinda gets mad again and tells Vic to put Trixie to bed, and she starts dancing with Joel. When Vic comes down, Joel says, "Don't you want to apologize for the lie?" Vic says that he didn't lie, and if he doesn't leave soon, he will be next. Then Melinda and Vic meet Don and his beautiful young wife, Kelly. Don asks Vic about his job and Vic tells him about the chip, and as the night goes by, Vic gets closer to them and he starts dancing with Kelly. Melinda gets jealous and on their way home, she asks Vic if he wants to sleep with Kelly, and Vic says nothing. The next day, Vic gets a call from a bank saying that his wife, Melinda, wrote a check for $3,000 to a man named Charles Delisle for piano lessons. After this call, Vic tries to find Charles and he finds him working as a pianist in a restaurant. He goes there and sees Melinda looking at Charlie. From the news, he hears that Martin's body is found and the killer is captured, and when Melinda comes back, he tells this fact to her. The next morning, Vic sees Charlie with a bouquet in his hand, and when he returns home, he sees the same bouquet on the table and throws it away. That night, Melinda seduces Charlie and makes love to him all night in his car. When she returns home, Vic yells at her and asks where she was, and also talks about the check. Melinda says that she is surprised to see Vic angry for a change. She says that if he really loved her, he shouldn't have asked if she slept with another man, and if she says yes, they must have a rough sex right there. Then she says that the fact that he doesn't do this means that he doesn't love her. The next week, Vic and Melinda are invited to a pool party and Melinda invites Charlie too. She introduces him to everyone as her piano teacher, and when she gets the chance, she goes to a room with Charlie and has sex with him. When they come out of the room, Vic sees them, and after that, they all go for a swim. Suddenly, a heavy rain starts to pour and everyone goes back inside, but Charlie is not there. They find his dead body floating in the pool. The police comes, and even though they think that Vic has enough motives, no one believes that he could do this, and he gets off the hook. A few days pass and we see Vic on a bicycle. He thinks of how he drowned Charlie in the party and killed him. He realizes someone is following him. When he goes to find Melinda, he sees her talking to the man who was following him, and the man introduces himself as a doctor. But Vic suspects him because the man does not have a business card with him. Vic wants to get to the bottom of this, and he finally finds out that the man is a private investigator that Melinda hired to check on him. Plus, Don was the one who helped her. Vic returns home and sees another man with Melinda, Tony. Tony is an old friend of Melinda's and they met in Brazil. They talk and Melinda says that Tony is the first American that she ever had. Tony blushes, but Melinda tells him to relax because Vic does not care about such things. Vic looks at them, they dance, they laugh, and finally Melinda takes Tony to her room and she starts to undress. The next day, Vic talks to Tony and tells him that Melinda sent him there and wanted to talk. He takes Tony to a jungle and parks the car. When Tony gets out, Vic kills him with a rock and throws his body in the river. A few days later, Trixie asks her father to take her and Melinda out and wants to go where Vic killed Tony, by the river. Melinda is worried about Tony too and tells Vic that he is the only man that stays with her no matter what, and Vic shows her an album of pictures that he took from her. When they arrive, Vic sees that the stream brought up the body, so he takes Trixie and Melinda to the house, and he tells them that he'll join them soon, but Melinda is more attached to him than ever, so he wants to spend the night with Vic. The next day, Vic goes to hide the body and Melinda wanders around the house and she finds Tony's stuff. At the same time, Vic is getting rid of the body and Don shows up. He runs with his car and Vic goes after him with the bike. Even though Vic is on his bicycle, he knows a shortcut, and when he appears in front of Don's car, Don loses control and falls off a cliff. While this was happening, Melinda was packing her bags to leave Vic forever, but when Vic returns home, he finds Melinda sitting there and setting fire to Tony's wallet and stuff. She finally found her man. That was the recap of the movie Deep Water.